record has really contributed to a winning culture here at Columbia. 24 wins, 12 losses, 8 draws in their 3 soccer seasons, 4 years here. And in the Ivy League, 8-5-4. They've finished 4th 2 times, and this year with an opportunity to finish as high as 2nd. As we get underway, Dartmouth moving right to left in the big green with white numbers, and Columbia going left to right in the white kits with the Columbia blue trim. And next year, of course, the Ivy League will be having playoffs. Top 4 teams next year will make the playoffs in men and women's soccer. Long overdue, but happy that it's finally happening. And if this was next year, this match tonight would be absolutely a playoff game for both teams. As Dartmouth with a chance, shot from distance, knocked down by Sophia Cavalier. And Sam Cohn now plays one long to one of the graduating seniors, Allie Clark, who knocks it back to Tabion. Shira Cohen gets it to Tabion again. Allie Clark to her left. Clark defended by Grace Martin. Gets by Grace on her right foot. Shot towards the far post. Just misses the target. Not sure if that was a shot or a cross, Becky.
Yeah, and a really good chance for Columbia early on. I think, again, you can feel the atmosphere and you can see how excited everybody is, and they've had a really good start to this game.
And it'll just lead to a goal kick. Charlotte Sear, who's amongst the leaders in the Ivy League, first in save percentage with an .830 save percentage, which is outrageous, and first in shutouts with 5. As Dartmouth gets into the offensive half. Some room here for Haley Rorick. Rorick plays it wide to Lundrigan. The first-year Lundrigan, tied for first in assists in the Ivy League with 7. Tried to get a cross in. It was knocked over the end line by Sam Gordon. First corner kick of the match coming up for Dartmouth. And Juliet Moncho going to take the kick. Senior with 1 assist on the year for the Big Green. Right-footed, in-swinger towards the far post, headed up in the air by Dartmouth. It's still loose and into the welcoming hands of Paige Nurkin, junior goalkeeper Nurkin. 4-3-1 on the season with a 1.27 goals against average. And Nurkin plays a good ball out wide to Sam Cohn. Cohn forward into Allie Clark. Does well, knocks it back to Grace Heron. Into Anya Prusak, back to Heron. We see Heron, Becky, maybe, and Sophia Cavalier side by side.
Yeah, I think Heron's a sitting player, and Cavalier has a little bit more freedom to kind of be more of an 8 role and move around. But it looks like a double 6, like in structure early on. Just leaves Prusak that space in front to play more as a 10. But again, you can see it early. Both teams really, really organized defensively. So hard to break down, but good quality start from both teams.
And the timing off on that one there, or Allie Clark had herself a 30-yard breakaway. Clark, one of the 6 members of the class of 2023, one of the captains as well. Cavalier, back to McCaw. McCaw, another one of the 6 seniors being honored tonight. One touch by Prusak into Clark, defended by Faulkner. Faulkner plays it over the sideline. It'll be a Columbia throw. Gordon throws it to Cohen. Cohen tries to get something out of that, but the defender jumped out of the way and rolls easily to Sear. Charlotte Sir has 88 saves this season, Becky. So her save percentage is tops in the league. She also leads with 5 shutouts, but 88 saves sounds like an awful lot after 14 matches.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like a lot. I think if you were to look at all 88 back, it'd be interesting to see which of them you would maybe perceive as saves. But it shows that, you know, she's getting her positioning correct and she's in the right places. And again, something that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, if your back four can trust the goalkeeper, then you're already in a good spot defensively.
And Prusak tries to play one to Gordon. It's not a stat you want as a coach, you don't necessarily want your goalkeeper leading the league in saves.
No, you don't, but at the same time, that's what goalkeepers are there for. So I think if you want to look at a performance of a goalkeeper, then, you know, that's a stat you want to look at. But yes, I think as a team defensively, you want to limit the shots that you give up.
And a ball forward, looking for Aspen Anderson. And McCall just shielded out of bounds. Sam Gordon, who you called last week when Columbia was trying to figure out ways through Princeton's defense. You wanted to see Gordon get forward and try to exploit some of those open spaces on the flanks, as well as Sam Cohn on the left side. And that really, even though Columbia didn't get a goal, they came very close, and a lot of that had to do with Gordon getting herself forward later in the match, creating chances not just for herself but also for her teammates. As this is Cohn now on the left side. Pass from Prusak. Sam Cohn. Her service is defended over the end line. And it'll be a corner kick for Columbia, their first of the match. And that's Sophia Cavalier over to take the corner. Cavalier plays one towards the penalty spot, headed out by Dartmouth, and chased down by Allie Winstanley. First time we've had a chance to mention Winstanley, who's a senior and top of the Ivy League in goals with 10, top in game-winning goals with 5, and also top in points per game with 1.64. So a great senior season for Allie Winstanley, followed up a great junior season that she had as well, 7 goals, 6 assists. So a very productive player for head coach Ron Rainey.
And I think as this game goes on and teams start to settle down after the first 10 minutes, we'll see her play into the game more. But again, that's the players that we talk about, right? The moments that you maybe don't see the ball a lot, but the moments that you do, you're effective with it and you do something special. So excited to see her get on the ball.
And it's a throw in for Dartmouth. And another one further up the field. Both teams in good form coming into this match. Columbia unbeaten in 3, and Dartmouth, I believe, has won 3 straight. Another reason why a playoff system in the Ivy League would be good. Into Prusak, tackled hard by Rorick. Prusak now chasing it down. Nifty there from Grace Faulkner. Gets it to Mary Lundrigan. So Lundrigan, the first-year player for Dartmouth, the number 24, Becky, looks like she's tied for first in the league with 7 assists, but she's doing it from almost like a wing-back position here.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that she's dynamic in getting forward. I think it'll be interesting to see as the game goes on. Does she move into a higher position based on how the game looks? And even you look at set pieces, I thought maybe she would be on the ball for set pieces, but she's not. So yeah, it's great that she has 7 assists from open play.
On those set pieces so far is Juliet Moncho. Took the corner kick a little while ago. Now takes this one. Plays into a dangerous area. Big play by Paige Nurkin. In a crowd, not just had to deal with Dartmouth's players, but also her own. And it looks like Nurkin and her own player, Sophia Cavalier, kind of came together. But brave bit of goalkeeping by Paige Nurkin and handled that really well in the crowd.
Yeah, and it's a really good ball in, actually. Maybe a little overhit, but it's good good technique, good texture. Goalkeeper has to come and claim it, and she does. She does a really good job in this moment. And again, this is what happens, unfortunately, when you're a goalkeeper, and sometimes they're protected and sometimes they're not, but it's a really good take from the goalkeeper. She looks to be fine, though, which is good to see. That's actually
Courtney Root. Apologies. I think I said it was Sophia Cavalier, but center back Courtney Root. Oh, and then no. So Root was also down, and that is Cavalier still behind the trainer. As we take a look, the series goes way back, but the most recent, as you see, Columbia's been in control of the last 6 meetings, 4 wins, 2 draws. And last year at Dartmouth, Columbia won 3-2. Allie Clark and Kendall McBride with a goal and an assist each in last year's match. Nata Ramirez also scored last year. Of course, Ramirez, one of the top players in the Ivy League, has not been available all year. As we look at a gorgeous sky here, sunset is absolutely beautiful. One of the last really great fall days that we're going to see in the tri-state area probably for quite some time, Becky, unfortunately.
Yep, the winter's coming. It's a trick.
But a spectacular night and just a glorious looking sky. And Nurkin is thrown right into the fire. I'm not sure that I'd play one back to her after she's been looked at for a while, but she handled it like a champ.
Yeah, it looks like Columbia are just going to play a player down for now. Play with 10, so, oh no, maybe they're bringing somebody in.
So you're right, Becky. And it will be Justina Bitzer, who I know you've enjoyed watching here.
Straight into the midfield today.
You point out the flexibility of Bitzer. She's played as a center back, as a right back, and at times as a 6 in the midfield.
And I mean, for a freshman, how great is it that you can have somebody that you can rely on as sometimes a starter, sometimes your first player off the bench, but you know she can do a variety of roles. And again, as a freshman, I think the maturity to come into the team and be able to play any position is great.
Foul goes against Columbia there. And it'll be another restart for Dartmouth, and Moncho on it again. And Moncho plays it towards the near post. Gordon heads it out. Moncho, another service into the box. It's headed just wide. And that was Allie Winstanley. We could see pretty good, 10 goals on the season, and here she is just missing with the head.
Yeah, it just makes a run off the back shoulder. It's a good ball in again from the center back. And she's put in a couple of good services now. So again, if you see Winstanley coming off the shoulder of the defender, they just need to be aware of her.
And only 5'7". I say only because the 2 center backs are taller than her, but she went up amongst you center backs there and was able to win a header on a nicely played ball. Becky, of course, former professional center back. Millwall and Bristol City.
Yep.
As well as a number of teams in the United States, various women's leagues, which is now the NWSL. Really into the juicy part of the NWSL playoff semifinals tomorrow night, down to the Final Four. We'll get Becky's thoughts when we have an opportunity. And that's at Becky Tweed. If you don't like what she has to say about the playoffs and her predictions, be sure to let her know about it. Well, both teams have shown to be really comfortable in tight spaces and short passes and getting out of some trouble, even along the sideline.
Yeah, both teams have done a really good job of getting the ball down, being a little patient, trying to play and build out. And again, it's credit to the back line and the goalkeepers for starting that off. And Dartmouth now having a little bit more of the possession.
Referee's calling a corner here. Gordon went down. I believe she thought she might have been fouled, but maybe the ball was out of bounds prior to.
Yeah, I think the ball went out of bounds. I think it's hard to see from here. Probably the linesman over there has the best view, so gave a corner by the looks of it.
And the corner goes towards the far post, slapped away by Nurkin and off a Dartmouth player, so it'll be a goal kick for Columbia. Nice play by Nurkin.
And it's another dangerous ball in. I think, again, causes some problems. Goalkeeper deals with it really, really well again. But another dangerous ball, and we can see early that Dartmouth are going to be a threat off of set pieces.
Become such an important piece, right? At the professional level, are you looking at players that you know for sure will be dominant in both boxes, right? Not just offensively, but also you've got to find players that can help you defend set pieces.
Yeah, I mean, you have to make sure that your balance is right. I think, obviously, you know, set pieces can win and lose your games at the end of the day, so you have to make sure that when you're really looking at picking your team and your squad that, you know, you have people that can do a multiple roles. Like, set pieces contain like a lot to it. I actually think it's like a very specialist thing, and you see a lot of goalkeeper coaches now taking charge of set pieces, and even some teams now have set piece coaches. So I think it's just identifying what you can be strong at and then making sure that you have the personnel to fit that.
And there's Wynn Stanley trying to get a service in. Blocked over the end line by Sam Cohn, and another corner kick from Dartmouth. And Mancho was taking the corners from this side, the right-footed service, and it looks like Carly Retterer will take them from the far side, also right-footed. So this will be an outswinger from Retterer. Plays it close to the goal line. Headed down towards the far post. Big save by Nurkin, and that was Alina Seals with the header. This one's headed out, top of the box, shot by Mancho, blocked on a way in, cleared by Heron, but still Dartmouth in possession. Grace Martin to Mancho. Mancho's shot from distance, a little ambitious, was blocked. Cohen now gets it back to Maddie McCaw, who relieves a little bit of pressure here for the time being, as Dartmouth's had a little bit more of the possession and opportunities in the final third so far. But a huge save from Nurkin.
Yeah, it's a really good save. Again, I think another good ball in, this time from a different player, huge save. But again, it's dangerous from set pieces. So for Columbia, it's limiting how many set pieces they can give away because they know that Dartmouth are going to cause them problems on it.
And that was Alina Seals with the header. Seals is the current Ivy League Player of the Week. She had the game-winning goal versus Penn. 1-0 win for Dartmouth in the last match. I know you have a couple of friends on that Penn staff. But Seals was able to get the goal in the 1-0 victory. And Dartmouth just a little quicker to the ball at the moment. McCaw to Cohen. Taken away. Brown, Sydney Brown, tries to find Wynn Stanley, who's playing on the right wing. And now the benefit of a foul there. So good bit of sustained pressure going on here for Dartmouth.
Yeah, and Columbia just need to ride out this little bit of momentum, try to calm the game down a little bit and keep the ball. So, you know, the game goes in a lot of ebbs and flows. So if they can just get through this 5 minutes and look to be more composed and keep it, then they can come out the other side.
And, you know, this kind of has turned. And Sophia Cavalier is that player in the midfield that Columbia can look to and get the ball. Of course, she was subbed off after the collision with Paige Nurkin. But Cavalier, you know, in times like this where you're under pressure, you can usually count on her to get a ball in the midfield, put her foot on it a little bit, maybe draw a foul, and kind of release it. And this is nothing against Justina Bitzer, who was just thrown into that position without really much of a proper warm-up. But it's just more to the quality of Sophia Cavalier and the attributes that she brings to this squad.
Yeah, and she plays a lot of minutes for the team, and it will be a big loss. But again, nothing that Columbia can't deal with. It just may take a little bit of time to adjust to it. But the next 5 minutes will be really key for them to just try to keep the ball a little bit more.
20 minutes gone by here, still scoreless at Rocco B. Camisso Soccer Stadium. Sal Rosamilia with Becky Tweed on senior night. Final home match of the year for Columbia as they honor their 6 graduating seniors. Seals on a run, right-footed shot, tries to pull it across her body. Nurkin always had that one covered, it seems. As we see Seals again.
Yeah, it's always an interesting one, this. As soon as players start to drive sideways across the box, it's really hard to get any power behind it, and it's going to have to be a really, really good strike for it to beat the goalkeeper from there. But it's 6 shots now for Columbia, and for Dartmouth, and 0 for Columbia. So you can really see that Dartmouth are dominating this game right now, and Columbia just need to get their foot on the ball, ride the storm, and see if they can get some sustained possession.
It's interesting. So a lot of times now, these days, you see when players are driving across one side of the box to the other towards the middle, they usually look to hit that bending ball to the far post because, like you said, maybe you can't quite get that power, so it's more about a little trickery and a little bit more of a placement. But
yeah, it's something that needs to beat the goalkeeper, and I think if you're going for pure power in those, the technique of it's very, very difficult to be able to twist your hips and to get power behind it. So you see now people hit the ball with the inside of their foot and they try to find the inside of the post. Tough for any goalkeeper.
And a shot here from Sydney Brown. Goes over the bar. Well, what can Columbia do, Becky? We're midway through the first half, just about here, and we saw the shots are well in favor of Dartmouth. The possession, if we were keeping track of the possessions, also in favor of Dartmouth. How does Columbia change that?
I think, again, they just need to be a little bit more patient on the ball. It's okay to put your foot on it and slow the game down and keep it at the back for a while. It doesn't always have to be forwards. And I think sometimes when you feel under pressure, you play like you're under pressure. And I think somebody just needs to take a little bit of control on this and just keep it. But, you know, credit to Dartmouth and their press. It's very good. It's very organized. But, again, just keep the ball, be patient, and things will open up. Don't force it forward into those areas.
And Heron gets it out wide to Root. And sometimes just a long ball relieving pressure will work too, as Columbia now picks up the second ball in the midfield. Tabion tries to find Prusak. Tabion fights for it again with Rederer. Rederer plays it wide to Martin. And Martin comes forward now. Back to Moncho. This is the first chance really that Columbia's had to sort of sit in formation, tactically get their players in formation and try to do just this as Shira Cohen takes a ball away. Cohen one-on-one, top of the box, gets it to her left foot. Now squares it to Prusak. Prusak gets it to Tabion. Tabion back to Prusak. One touch wide to Clark. Can she get there? Doesn't matter as the flag goes up.
Yeah, and I think earlier on in this, you just want to see Cohen hit it with her left foot as she cuts inside. She does really well. She wins the ball. She beats the player, and everybody's like hoping she's going to hit it with her left foot and it's going to go in top corner. But again, good. That's much better pressure from Columbia. Pressing cues, found the moment to go in and win the ball, and then created something from it.
And Charlotte Sir, senior goalkeeper for Dartmouth, puts the ball back in play. Flag went up. It was questionable whether it was offside, but Clark was never going to get to that ball anyway, so either way it was going to be a Dartmouth kick. As driving in the midfield is Sydney Brown. Brown plays it wide to Winstanley. Winstanley, edge of the area. Takes it to the end line, serves one towards the far post. Aspen Anderson gets there. Lundrigan. Taken by Anya Prusak. Prusak square to Maya Tabion. Back to Prusak. Heron. And this is the left back, Sam Cohn, forward. Plays it into space for Allie Clark. Clark and Moncho one-on-one. And Moncho tackles it out of bounds.
You could see in this, as soon as Dartmouth give the ball away, the key thing they want to do is get back into their shape. It's not like they go and counter press and try to win the ball back. They get to their shape immediately. So again, that's one key thing for Columbia is they're getting on shape. You're probably going to be able to keep the ball. So be patient in those moments. They're going to try to get organized. So I think it's if you force it, they're getting numbers behind the ball. So it's just, again, being a little bit more patient.
And Cohen in the box. Dangerous tackle, but clean by Mary Lundrigan. As a defender there, are you hesitant to go into that tackle?
No,
I know, are not, but.
That wasn't, she just tripped over the ball.
Spoken like a true defender. And into the space again for Allie Clark. So I want to go back to what you were talking about there, Dartmouth. So they're losing the ball, but you're recognizing that they're more interested in just getting 11 players sort of where they want to be, where Coach Ron Rainey wants them to be. And, there are some coaches who we talked about off air, Manchester City. So their style is they lose it under Pep, right? And he was like that at Barcelona. He wants to win it back in 3 seconds. So there's immediate pressure. Of course, you fill in behind where you can, but closest 1 or 2 players to the ball after they lose possession, they want to immediately attack and try to slow things down.
Yeah, so I think the key thing in that is if you know that they're going to press you to win the ball back, they're still going to stay disorganized, so you can try to play forwards. Dartmouth is doing the opposite. They're dropping off, they're getting organized. They're not worried about the player on the ball when it's in the opposite half. They're just worried about the space in behind. So for me, it's a key that you need to try to keep it, because if you try to play forwards in transition quickly, they're going to be organized and you're going to give the ball away.
And this is Carly Retterer. And Columbia not really pressuring the ball themselves either, but getting sort of into their defensive formation without it. Now it goes all the way back to Nurkin. Nurkin to Courtney Root. Into Maya Tabion, back to Root. And now forward for Clark. Tabion tries to find Clark again, and it's just going to roll over the sideline. Some substitutions coming. And it looks like just a Columbia sub for now, so Dartmouth throw, Columbia not able to make a change. And now they will, as that ball went out. And it's Kendall McBride into the match for Maya Tabion. You liked what McBride did last week in that Princeton game as the number 9 for Columbia when she was on?
Yeah, I think she did a good job of holding the ball up, joining other players in. She's, for me, a true back to goal 9, and there's not many of them that exist anymore. So she just lets people join in. I think it obviously helps as well that you see Ali Clark in a different position, which gives her a little bit more freedom as well to attack.
So Clark here wide. Towards the top of the box, Heron heads it towards goal. It's knocked down, it's blocked, and this is McBride with her back to the goal, lays it off for Heron. Her shot's deflected. That'll be a corner kick for Columbia. So again, pulling the Tony Romo out is Becky Tweed.
Just the ability to hold this up and be able to lay it off. It's tough because there's a defender coming in, but again, it's actually a really, for me, an undervalued skill that you can gain so much advantage for your teammates. It's very unselfish.
And the corner kick will come, and this is Justina Bitzer taking the corner on that wonderful goal cam view towards the top of the area. Sam Gordon out wide. Sam Cohn trying to get around Grace Martin, and another tackle in and around the penalty area. Bravely done by Dartmouth and cleanly done as well. As we will have Claire Pinney into the game for Shira Cohen. So there's a Pinney connection that Becky figured out before the game between these two clubs. Claire, the sophomore forward for Columbia, has a sister, Sophie Pinney, who's a senior on Dartmouth's roster. And Daisy Granholm into the game for Dartmouth for Grace Faulkner. Check that, Aspen Anderson. Thank you, Mike Cantor, for letting me know that. Besides having the best analyst in the business here in the Ivy League in Becky Tweed, we also have the best everybody else. Dan Zimmer on camera, Mike Cantor making sure I don't screw up, Anna Grazoulis producing and directing from inside the booth, and putting together just about every halftime piece that we show. And the wonderful Alex Oberweger, who oversees everything, shows up every once in a while to say hello as Columbia plays one forward. As Sear punts one over midfield. Prusak. Well, Columbia, what's Columbia done, Becky? Because it's kind of turned after that first 20-plus minutes where it was heavily tilted into their defensive half of the field.
Yeah, I think you can see now they're just able to keep the ball a little bit more sustained possession, a little bit more calm, and I think it comes down to one, them getting, you know, their foot on the ball and keeping it, and two, you see now that the Dartmouth press can't be so high. Just because of the timing in the game, just because of where we are, it's hard for the 9. The 9 is the person that sets the press, and you know, you're 20 minutes in, 25 minutes in, your press changes.
And there's McBride back to the goal, top of the area. Started this little connection here, flag goes up. Columbia waiting to make a change, but Dartmouth restart on the offside, so no substitutions allowed. The college game, you can sub after goals. Both teams can. Both teams can sub on goal kicks. And you can only sub on your own throw. No re-entry for substitutions in the first half. One re-entry allowed in the second half.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to see Sophia Cavalieri in the second half, if she's doing okay over there.
Yeah, unfortunately, she's one of a number of Columbia Lions who has missed some time this year for various injuries. Nata Ramirez, as I had mentioned earlier, 2021 All-Ivy player, has been out all year. She had 10 goals last year. We talked about Allie Winstanley with 10 goals this year and how impressive that was. Well, Ramirez did that last year as well with 4 assists, and Maddie Pila also has been out virtually the entire season. And this is Justina Bitzer. And it's taken away by Seals, but just not able to keep it in, and now some substitutions will come. Both sides looking to make some changes. So Kat Jordan's going to come in for Anya Prusak, and another one of the seniors being honored tonight, Blake Turner, will come in. And Danielle Burke into the game. Blake Turner comes in for Clark. Danielle Burke into the game for Dartmouth. And Burke is in for Sydney Brown. And this is Jordan, just into the match. And Jordan will be called for the foul. Is that 2 quick fouls? The referees, I mean, that wasn't much to that foul, but he's having a little dialogue with Jordan. Heron heads that on. This is Claire Pinney. Pinney zigzagging her way through the midfield, tries to find Jordan. And a good through ball here going to Winstanley. Winstanley into the area, right-footed shot blocked by Root, and then Winstanley fouls Root. So that's classy defending there from Courtney Root. So 2 things there, Becky, you gotta like, right? She did well, didn't dive in, didn't try to win a ball, but kept her body in a nice position to block the first shot, and then also used her body really effectively to draw the foul.
Yeah, yeah, I think getting your body between the ball and the players and defending anywhere is the first priority, and the worst thing that can happen to you then is that you get fouled. And like we see in that occasion, it's really smart, really good defending, and she kind of owns that space between the ball and the goal, so good defending from her.
Root has been so good this year. Sophomore defender, transferred from Rutgers, and has immediately fit in and really, really well. One of the Tracy Bartholomew, former goalkeeper, so has always been great defenders, great goalkeeping in her time here. And Root just looks like she's going to be another in a long line of wonderful defenders that the Lions have had. Speaking of, Maddie McCall, one of the seniors being honored tonight, has also been tremendous in her career as a defender. And this is it, Becky. This is what you said Columbia needed, is to just put some passes together, not necessarily needing to really go anywhere, but this has kind of changed the tempo of the game and sort of the feel for the game from the first 20 plus minutes.
Yeah, it's so much better in possession, and you can see now the Dartmouth 9 has to do so much work to press, and the work that she's doing is, the distance that she's covering is a lot. So now when they win possession of the ball, she's all of a sudden tired.
And that was McBride who went down in the area. Referee's been on top of things. Didn't see much into that. That's a foul on Gordon. And she pushed a little up top, but really the foul came, her feet just kind of came together with the Dartmouth player. There was nothing there.
I think she got tangled up with her. Nothing there really. Just you could tell something was coming. There was a lot of pressure around the ball, and someone was going to foul somebody. I think just a clumsy foul there.
And that's not bad because Columbia had it, right? They turned it over, and sometimes a foul on this part of the field.
Yeah, it's fine. It allows you to get organized. You get your numbers back behind the ball, and you just pick up these longer balls.
And that shot from distance by Haley Rorick. An easy save for Paige Nurkin. Long ball by McCaw. Taken well by Kat Jordan. This is Claire Pinney now. Wide to Gordon. Forward for McBride. McBride turns the corner and will win a corner as Grace Faulkner plays it over the end line. And that's Kat Jordan with the corner. Left-footed in-swinger from Jordan. Coming towards the near post. Bouncing dangerously. Still loose. McBride's going to knock it back out to Jordan. Jordan tries to get it to the end line. Knocked away by Moncho. Another corner kick coming. Number 3 for Columbia. Or 4. As this one again a little farther away from goal, and it deflects off Blake Turner and over the end line. This is Mary Lundgren again, the first-year player for Dartmouth, tied for the league lead in assists with 7. But both teams, Becky, really impressed with how calm and comfortable they are building out of the back. I mean, I remember one long ball from a goalkeeper the entire game. But both teams really able to build out of organized presses, like well-coached, well-positioned presses, but still the ability, the technical ability is really the key, isn't it? To be able to handle that press in some tight spaces.
Yeah, and I think it's just movement and timing. I think both teams' movement has been really good. They've been able to get themselves in spaces in the midfield to get on the ball. I think now it's translating that build from the defenders to the midfielders, and then actually applying that now into the forward line. So again, that's the hardest piece. The space gets smaller. The goal is obviously, not a big target, but. Yeah, I think credit to both teams. They've both looked really comfortable on the ball, and they both enjoy playing. You can tell they both want to have the ball. They're both teams that want to play. And yeah, you can see that Columbia's movement is somebody always comes down off of the front line, which allows players to go in behind the back line like this.
And this is Bitzer. Uses her body well to keep possession. Squares it to McBride. McBride to Turner. Turner left-footed shot just over the bar. As we take another look, a lot of work done by Bitzer to get it to McBride.
Yeah, it's good build-up, and she does well to get faced up here. I think, again, she'll probably be a little bit disappointed that she doesn't hit the target in these moments and really test the goalkeeper. But, again, movement to get faced up is good, and a good opportunity on goal.
Haley Rorick. This is Daisy Granholm. Came on as a sub. Jaden Curry just came on recently as well for Dartmouth, coming in for Alina Seals. As we get later in the season, we see coaches not going as deep into their bench. This is Wynn Stanley trying to get around Sam Cohn, who does well to turn her away from goal. And now Wynn Stanley with a right-footed, what are we going to call that, a cross shot?
I think it was a cross.
What?
Just an off-balance cross.
Never really put too much stress into Paige Nurkin. Coming up at halftime, Basketball Mania. And of course, as always, first half highlights and stats. And I am not going to tell you what Basketball Mania is. I'm just going to keep you in suspense till halftime. But you're not going to want to miss it. As Granholm tries to find Danielle Burke, but Heron is there, taken by Winstanley. Winstanley floats one towards goal again. Deflected on the way, corner kick coming. And this will be a tough time, right, for either team to concede a goal. It's been probably a fairly even. Dartmouth more early, Columbia more in the middle and towards the end. And now restarts, which have been dangerous for Dartmouth all evening. As the corner comes, middle of the goal, in the 6, and Nurkin again in traffic. She has not been afraid to come around in traffic and punch some balls away, catch them clean. A big help to the center backs there, Becky.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, really important last minute that, you know, I'm sure both teams will be okay going in at 0-0 at this point. Nobody wants to go in 1-0 down. It changes your whole dynamic of your team talk. So I think both teams will be okay with going in at 0-0 right now.
Last week, Becky and I called the game. Princeton, Columbia tied 0-0. Dartmouth a 1-0 win over Penn. But both of these teams have played really, with the exception of Dartmouth's loss at home to Brown 4-1. Every game these two teams have played in the Ivy League have been really low-scoring, close matches. And this one so far, after 45 minutes, is no different. 0-0, but an exciting first half here at Rocco B. Camisso Soccer Stadium. Both teams certainly energized and hungry for the 3 points. Don't go away. We will come back with Basketball Mania right after this. This is the I've seen recently, Becky, the Columbia goalkeepers, they've split. Paige Nurkin has played most of the first halves recently, and Liz Matai has gone into the second half. As we kick off the second half here, scoreless. And it's nice to see Sophia Cavalier back into the game for Columbia. So she was subbed out after in the 6-yard box collision with Paige Nurkin. She was subbed out in the first half, and it's good to see that it was just a short-term thing, and Cavalier back into the game. Interesting, though, she's in the middle still with Bitzer. So Justina Bitzer has stayed in, who came on for Cavalier, as we see her on the ball now defending. And she remains in the game. So it looks like Grace Heron has been subbed off after a full 45 in the first half. And we talked a lot about the great season that Allie Winstanley is having for Dartmouth, leading in goals, leading in game-winning goals, points per game. But Columbia definitely limited her chances in the first half.
Yeah, I think Sam Cohn's done a really good job against her. I think, again, she showed every week, week in, week out, that she's tough to beat in 1v1s. She's always going to be an attacking threat, which means that the winger playing against her has to also drop with her and keeps her further away from the goal. So I think she's done a good job so far to deal with her. And, you know, I think any winger that's been put up against her this season, she's dealt with really well. So
that's Sam Cohn, the left back for Columbia, and Winstanley playing right wing for Dartmouth. So they're matched up together. Here goes Allie Clark down the left side. Defended by Moncho. Those two have gone at it. Good battle the entire night. And this is Cohn. She'll allow it to go out, but takes a quick throw. Right to Clark, knocks it back to Cohn. Cohn towards the near post. Shira Cohen chests it down to Anya Prusak. Top of the area, Cavalier patiently finds Clark. Clark looks back post for Tabion. Swept away by Dartmouth and taken by Seals. Seals now will relieve some pressure, but Maddie McCall will get there first for the Lions. Nifty little move to free herself. Now gets it to Root. So Dartmouth, much like they did in the start of the first half, comes out with a little bit more energy and a little bit pressure, more high pressure on the ball. They started to sit in a little bit more as the first half wore on. But some fresh legs after the intermission. Root. McCall. Back to Root. Headed over the sideline. Sam Cohn. Throws to Clark. So Clark playing out on the left here. Looks like maybe Shira Cohn a little bit more centrally to start here in the second half.
Yeah, and I think it's good to see the rotation of the forward players. They're very different in the way that they play. So just ask questions of the Dartmouth defenders. So just, you know, a little bit of rotation. You may see Ali Clark central, you may see a wide, but it just poses a problem to the defenders and they have to adapt to it.
Prusak lofts one towards the near post, bouncing dangerously. And it will go over the end line for a corner kick. Number 5 on the night for Columbia. Could play short if they want to, and they do quickly. Cavalier gets Tabion. Tabion whips one in. It's loose, cleared out. And Winstanley has it. And she finds Alina Seals. Seals is 1 against 4. Winstanley trying to join in. And a hard tackle by Maddie McCaw. Stops the run by Seals. And Root on the drive into Clark. Back centrally. Of course, Ali Clark, an All-Ivy player last year, did not play as the center forward for Columbia. Has been asked to play that position largely this year because of a lot of injuries to the attacking pieces that Columbia expected to have. And Clark, as you would expect your senior captain to do, has handled it really, really well.
And it's something maybe that Columbia talked about at halftime, and you can see it happening now, is because Dartmouth's just pressing with 1-9, the moment the ball gets switched, you can see either one of the Columbia centre-backs really comfortable dribbling out the back now. So the moment that they get the ball on the switch, they just break the 9 and they start to dribble, and it's effective for them. They're creating problems. They're, you know, being able to play balls higher up the field. So be interesting to see if that's something that they look to do at halftime, but it's definitely noticeable.
And a good run into the area, back heel. How nice was that by Anya Prusak, but an alert goalkeeper there in Charlotte Sir.
Yeah, and what a goal this would have been. It's so smart from Prusak. She's just looking for that little bit of trick and a little bit of disguise, but goalkeeper's onto that one. But great build-up. They've come out really well this second half, Columbia.
Well, the men, Becky and I called the men's game a week or so back that had an absolute highlight reel goal from Will DeKnight on a free kick from distance to tie the game, and that would have been one for the highlight reel for sure. Dartmouth's able to break through a couple tackles, but it's taken away by Root. And Bitzer and Redderer battle. The battle of the Ers. Nice turn by Shira Cohen. Gets it to Cavalier. Cavalier has Sam Cohn wide to her left. This is Cohn. Cohn left-footed service is deflected. Clark lets it run in front of her nicely. Cavalier with the shot that'll go wide. So dangerous play there again. We watch Clark just kind of let it roll right in front of her, try to get it to her right foot, and then it falls to Cavalier.
Yeah, and it just didn't fall for Clark. I think if it fell for her right foot, she would have hit it. And again, Cavalier's going to be a little bit disappointed there that she doesn't hit the target. I think those are one of those moments when if you don't get a lot of chances, those ones are key.
Yeah, she tried to wrap her foot around it and curl one towards that far post. It looked like there was some room there. And just kind of pushed it instead of bending it. And a throw in coming from Mary Lundrigan. Well, the way these two teams defend and how organized they are, you feel like maybe one goal is going to get it and be all either team would need tonight.
Yeah, and it may be down to something so simple like a set piece, so it's just going to be about the quality.
Dartmouth's last three, we go back 3 matches. They're 1-1-1, but they've only scored 1 goal, but they've only let up 2. And on the Columbia side, in their 4 Ivy League matches, they are 2-1-1. They've scored 3 goals and let up 2. So defensively very good as that shot goes over the bar from Aspen Anderson. So both teams in the Ivy League have really been stingy defensively, and we're seeing that again here tonight.
Yeah, and again, I think you just see that chance from Dartmouth. She would probably want to do a little bit better. Aspen Anderson, she hits it over. I think she has time to take a touch and bring it down.
And that's, again, under Tracy Bartholomew in her 9 seasons here at Columbia. That's been a strong trait of hers. Strong defensively. Winstanley with a left-footed shot from distance, and Liz Matai with a nice little comfortable frame dive to her left, not giving up a rebound.
Yeah, comfortable save, just hits it from outside the box, hits the target, but keeper's got it covered, very comfortable for her.
And again, Tracy Bartholomew's always had stingy defenses, good goalkeeping in her time here. Again, a former top goalkeeper herself at the University of Rochester, but taken away by Clark. Clark, a shot from 20 yards and a save by Sir as the game starts to open up just a little bit.
Yeah, the game's definitely opened up, and again, the quality of the goalkeepers both end. It needs to be a shot that, yes, is on target, but is going to challenge the goalkeeper, and I think those, again, are the moments that forwards and players will be disappointed with when they don't challenge the goalkeeper. We want to be saying the goalkeeper's made an incredible save, and you know, those moments will come, but it's definitely opened up again.
Yeah, there's been one save that I would maybe characterize as incredible. That was Nurkin in the first half on that header from close range. That she full extension to her left to keep it scoreless. Dartmouth will have a free kick here. Bitzer to Prusak. One times it. Looking for Cohen. Taken by Lundrigan. Cavalier. Root into Bitzer. And out to Maddie McCall. Maddie McCall, one of the graduating seniors, 6 being honored here tonight. She's been an anchor in the Columbia backline over the past 4 years. She's made 41 appearances and 32 starts during her time and has been a part of 11 shutouts in her career. The Yardley, Pennsylvania native. Congratulations to Maddie and her family. Mrs. Clark with some room. Cohen to her right, Tabion to her left. Clark continues on her own, tries to beat Moncho, but those two again have had a great battle. Moncho intercepts it, looking for Winstanley, but Root takes it away. into Bitzer. Sam Gordon, now Clark. Columbia's finding Clark often here in the second half. Clark nicely dummies through her legs, gets it to Gordon overlapping, but Dartmouth able to recover. You talked about in the first half, Becky McBride, really effective playing with her back to the goal. We're seeing Clark able to play with her back to the goal, but much farther away from goal, and also likes to turn and go at defenders too.
Yeah, I think what she offers is very varied. I think the great part about her is she's unpredictable. I think, again, she would be wanting a couple of those chances back because, you know, she takes those and you're almost calling her the complete player. She can press, she can hold it up, she can dribble it at players. But again, another good opportunity that's over the crossbar. But it's that sideways touch, very difficult for Tabion to get on target.
Yeah, good chance there. And we see a substitution on this goal kick. Hannah Delkic in and Shira Cohen out. So Delkic is one of the graduating seniors hailing from Danville, California. Grace Heron also back in for Bitzer. Delkic transferred from Georgetown and has made 11 appearances. This is number 12 as a forward for Columbia. She will graduate from Barnard College and will finish with a degree in economics, and she plans on heading to Boston to join Volition Capital as a venture analyst. So this is another one of those Columbia success stories, already with a great career waiting for her. So congratulations to Hannah on a wonderful time here at Columbia. Nice job by Clark, looking for Prusak. Prusak's able to get by the first defender, but a couple more waiting for her. And the Big Green take over. That's a good ball. Curled around Sam Gordon into Alina Seals. Seals, edge of the area, cuts it to her right, along the top of the area. Now plays it wide to Wynn Stanley. Wynn Stanley in the box, gets it to her right foot, shot, and what defending by Sam Cohn. It looked like for a second the very dangerous Wynn Stanley had a window to get that on target. Yeah,
it's great defending. Moves her feet, stays with her, really patient, kind of baits her outside, and then knows that she's going to win it. I think it's really, really smart defending.
And a great job by Cohn. And right behind her was Courtney Root, too. In case Cohn didn't get it, Root was there. And it also looked like Liz Matai was in good position. But, wow, 10 goals for Wynn Stanley, that close in the box. Dangerous moments for sure for Columbia as a corner kick to follow. And Matai, as we saw Nurkin do in the first half often, just takes all of the pressure off in traffic and grabs that corner kick and makes it look easy. Cavalier, guarded by Haley Rorick, gets it to Heron. Wide to Gordon. It's a foul after the ball. The referee was waiting to see if Columbia had an advantage. And instead pulls it back. That was a foul against Hannah Delkic. So we talked about 3 of the 6 seniors so far in depth, Clark, Delkic, and McCaw. There's 3 others that we'll get to. Jordan Beverina. Oh, let's see who's coming on. There, right on cue, Captain Jordan Beverina, defender from Falls Church, Virginia. Jordan has been a key part of the Columbia defense, being named a captain. making 27 appearances for the Lions during her time. And following her graduation from Columbia College, she's going to be joining Bank of America in New York City as an investment banker. So again, things all lined up pretty good for Beverina. So congratulations to her and her family members that are in attendance tonight. As a shot from Delkic, didn't quite get it exactly how she had hoped. Heron and Brown fighting for that ball. Prusak comes back to get it, knocks it to McCaw. Into Heron. Wide to Delkic. Tries to bring it inside to get away from defenders. Root. Into Heron. Back to Root. And there's that space you had talked about when they break the 9. There's some room for the center backs to come and try to exploit. Now maybe Wynn Stanley playing in a forward position. Long ball to McBride, who just came back into the game. Root, after a long dribble, gets it to Cone. Columbia looking to make a change. It's their throw, but they play it quickly. Into McBride, back to the goal. Really tough to dispossess when she gets herself positioned like that. Tabby onto the end line, left-footed cross is knocked out of bounds. And it'll be a throw-in, deep throw. And it'll be left for Cone. Again, Columbia has a substitution waiting. Not sure why it's not coming in now. They've had a couple throw-in chances. This is taken by Redderer. Cleared but to Heron. Back to McCaw. McCaw has 20 yards of space to take. To Cavalier. And just misses Delkic. And Dartmouth throw, so still Columbia can't make a change. Carly Redderer has some room. And this is Grace Martin from her fullback position. Plays one towards the top of the area. It's deflected away. It's still loose. Sam Cone gets it. Plays it wide to Maya Tabion. Forward to McBride. McBride plays it inside. Referee plays advantage as Prusak has it. Thought Tabion was going to make a diagonal run. Instead continued her run towards the middle of the field. Columbia might have preferred a free kick there, as they really didn't have anyone forward, as McBride is the most forward player normally, and she was fouled near midfield. It's a nice turn there out by Aspen Anderson, but there's always a second defender there for both teams, right? In the middle of the field as a chance comes, shot from distance, and Root's able to block it over the end line. That has to be frustrating for players, right? You beat somebody in the middle of the field and there's somebody there right in your face.
Yeah, and I was just about to bring this up. I think both teams are so solid defensively. They're really hard to break down, and it's going to take something special or something like a set piece. I think both teams are really organized. Back four and midfielders are really, really smart defensively. So I do think it's either going to be something special or a set piece that's going to win this game.
And here's a set piece. Moncho goes short. Corner of the box for Rederer. Now one's in. Heron takes it away. Columbia had everybody back defending, so they've got to try to keep this as long as they can and allow some numbers to get forward. Or Tabian could just push it by everybody and run to goal. Here she goes, Tabian squares it to Cavalier. Cavalier with a good first touch and a shot off the post. Wow, what a chance. It was a great run by Maya Tabian.
Yeah, it's really good counterattack from their own corner. Great by Tabian, great first touch, and she gets really unlucky here.
And would flush off the near post as we see a bunch of changes, and I believe one of those changes is one of the seniors being honored tonight, Blake Turner, hailing from Laguna Beach, California. And this is Turner on the ball there, I believe, and she's been a part of the Lions' attack as a forward for the last 4 years. Scored her first career goal this season and has made 17 appearances tonight, 18 during her time here at Columbia. Bitzer tries to find Penny. Penny still fighting for it. Blake's parents are here tonight, and she's graduating from the Fu Foundation School of Engineering and Applied Sciences with a degree in biomedical engineering. Congratulations to her. I can't even read what her degree is in, and she's been a huge asset to the program on the field and certainly to the Columbia community off the field. So congratulations to Blake and her family. As Dartmouth plays one towards the area again, but I mean, it's just tough to play any kind of balls like that towards the top of the box. If it's not Root, it's McCaw. If you're trying to play it centrally to somebody. And if it's not those two directly in front, it's Grace Heron. Like, how do you break this team down? As Root gets by the first defender, plays it to Turner. Nicely controlled off the thigh to Tabian. Tabian dribbling, trying to find somebody. She just had that great run down the right side, setting up Cavalier for the best chance of the game for the Lions. Bitzer into Penny. Penny, left-footed, tries to find Cavalier. That is going to run out for a goal kick. As we take a look at the scores around the league, Harvard 3-2 over Princeton. Yale 1-0 over, and Becky does not like to see that score, as Yale beats Penn. And Brown over Cornell. Brown and Harvard 1 and 2 in the league. Columbia currently number 3. As Dartmouth takes over. Into Winstanley. Plays a nice ball out wide to her left, and the flag goes up. You know, when you've got 10 goals and you get a ball with some space in front of you, I was fully expecting Allie Winstanley to try to win a game right there. Instead, very unselfishly played it out wide.
Yeah, and I think the movement of the forward there, she's so enthusiastic to get high and in behind. She just needs to pull one step wider instead. She doesn't need to be offside in those moments. And again, like, those are the tiny little details and the frustrating moments that can win or lose you this game.
Because she was so wide open,
yeah,
she really didn't need to.
She didn't even need to
beat anybody with speed.
She could have stood still.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just looking across the line. And again, it's tough, right? You have to be able to keep checking for the ball, look where the defenders are, look across the line. Like, you have to be able to do multiple actions over and over again in such a short space of time. And I think if she just would have looked, she would have realized that she had more space and time than she thought.
Well, maybe the first time all game through the run of play that we saw somebody open in the Columbia area.
Yeah, and it's to do with getting how many numbers you can get forward. I think maybe the first time we've even seen like a numbers even situation where the defenders have to make a decision, and whichever decision they make, the forwards are going to pick the opposite. So probably the first time that we've seen an even numbers moment in the attacking third.
And this is Wynn Stanley all the way back in her defensive third. Now brings it across midfield into Daisy Granholm. Plays it wide to Danielle Burke. Burke has some room to drive forward. Plays it to Seals. Seals into the area on her left foot. Tries to square one into the middle. Beverina sweeps it away. Another thing with organized teams, sometimes throw-ins are no big deal. You're almost in a better position when you're organized and marking up. The defensive team wins a lot of the throw-ins. Tabion. Cone overlapping. Cone trying to get around Grace Martin. Martin in a good position for now. Cone continues towards the end line and gets something out of it. Smart play there by Sam Cone after a 60, 70-yard dribble. Maybe just didn't, saw Martin was in a good position the whole time and just kind of not, I think intentionally just kind of knocks it off her to get a corner kick.
Yeah, and I think those are the things that we want to see from Sam Cone. Getting forward, dribbling, driving into space, really looking to create problems in the attacking third. So those are the moments where she becomes really dangerous with that space in front of her.
Cavalier with the corner. Very high towards the top of the area. First header by Dartmouth. That was Seals. Heron, though, collects the second ball. Heron touches it around Rorick. Now plays it to Courtney Root. Root into the box to Pinney. And cleared by Retterer. Wynn Stanley takes it down. But just like that, Columbia with 4, now 5 players behind the ball. Dartmouth has to play backwards. And some changes will come, and gives me a chance to talk about Mackenzie Bryant, the final of the 6 seniors being honored tonight from Greenwood Village, Colorado. She's battled through a lot of adversity throughout her career. To be able just to train and play at Columbia in her final season has dealt with a lot of injuries, various injuries. But nice to see Mackenzie against Fordham on September 11th this season. Helped Columbia in goal to a 4-0 win. And her parents are here tonight along with her brother. And she's going to graduate from Columbia College with a degree in psychology and public health. So congratulations to Mackenzie and her family. As we see some changes, Sam Gordon back in for Jordan Beverina. This class of 2023, a great 4 years. Of course, 3 seasons. 24, 12, and 8 was the overall record. 8, 5, and 4 in the Ivy League. They finished 4th last year and in 2019. And this year, they are currently in 3rd. If this were next year, they'd be safely at the moment into the playoffs, which we're all excited about. Extra soccer, nothing wrong with that, right, Becky? You haven't watched enough soccer.
There's nothing better than a playoff game, huh? Like, anybody can beat anybody in those moments, and just makes everything a little more exciting.
All right, speaking of playoffs, need the prediction. Portland, San Diego. Huge game, the first one of the semifinals tomorrow.
Yeah, what a game it's going to be. I can't even predict.
No. That's we're not letting you get away with. I can't even predict.
No, not doing it. Don't know.
Wow.
I really don't know who it's going to be. It's going to be a great game. I think, you can see from the playoff games that hopefully this continues into next season, but just how many fans and how many people have got behind the teams and are watching the games, it's so good to see for the sport and for the league. So, that will continue tomorrow, and the games have been exciting. So I'm sure tomorrow's 2 games are going to be, as we call it, the NWSL craziness.
As Claire Pinney, one-on-one with Faulkner. Pinney trying to get around the corner, goes down hard, and another corner kick coming up for the Lions. All right, let's get to the other semifinal. I know who you like here, so don't tell me you're not going to have a pick. OL Reign and Kansas City.
Still not picking. It can go any way. There's no projection that's the right projection in the NWSL.
All right, I'll keep your secret. That's at Becky Tweed, by the way, if you want to see if she'll tell you her picks in private. Corner kick coming up as we're under the 12-minute mark here. Still scoreless. Dangerous ball that just gets through Sir. And no one there at the back post for Columbia to take advantage. What a dangerous ball. Right a parallel with the goal line, almost a yard off the goal line the entire way. As Gordon now plays one to the top of the box to Turner. Tries to touch it. She does to Tabion, who slides it to Clark. Not able to get a shot. Still loose in the area. Cleared now by Dartmouth. And now just bombed downfield. McCaw wins it from Granholm. And Maddie McCaw continues on. Plays it to Allie Clark. Clark and Faulkner fighting for it as we take another look at this corner.
Yeah, again, another dangerous ball in from a set piece. Hard to defend. Just nobody at the back post to get any slight touch on it.
Wow, that one just went begging across the entire goal line. Just waiting for a deflection. Columbia would have taken it off a Dartmouth player, I'm sure. Cavalier gets a cross in, and that shot by Tabion. I think Tabion got the touch off a Dartmouth player and out for another corner, unless it was just cleared.
No, I think a good ball in. I actually think it's really good defending. Tight onto the forward. Hard to score in those moments, but good ball.
As the corner comes towards the near post, 2 Dartmouth players there to clear. And here's a break opportunity as Columbia had numbers forward on sustained pressure. Jaden Curry. And Matai comes out. All important tackle there by Liz Matai. As the goal was exposed, Columbia had a lot of players forward. And Matai timed it right just in time in front of Jaden Curry.
Wow, that was key from Liz Matai, and gosh, she had to get every part of that right, and she did.
Turner knocks it back to Prusak. Credit Liz Matai. I mean, she probably knew she was most likely coming in at halftime, but it's not easy for a goalkeeper to not go through the full warm-up in the beginning, come off the bench, and have to make game-saving plays like that. Here we look at it again.
Yeah, she gets it completely right. Timing, space, it's good. And again, like I said, she has to get that one right. Once you commit as a goalkeeper, it's only one of 2 outcomes, so she does a great job there. I think, again, just the game's going to open up for the last 10 minutes, but just things to be aware of is we've seen it happen twice now, is the counter-attack from your own set piece. So how can both teams do a better job of making sure that that doesn't happen?
Well, I mean, it kind of shows that both teams really are pressing for the win. Neither team, I think, is sitting back and being comfortable. Splitting the points here tonight. And going for the win, you're occasionally going to expose yourself. So goalkeepers, posts have gotten in the way, and we're still scoreless despite the game opening up here in the second half. Nice touch out wide by Prusak. Cone getting forward, left-footed service towards the penalty spot, back post, Prusak, good first touch, shot on goal, and Sir with a big save.
And it actually starts from Prusak in the build-up. She actually gets onto her own piece of play that she started here, and again, it's good play from her. Just another one for the goalkeeper, though. I think maybe an extra touch out in front of her so she can hit it into the bottom corner.
Yeah, it was a tough ball to handle, and she handled it well, but that touch kind of took her towards the corner flag,
yeah,
which
and I think
made
she
it.
had more time than she thought. I think probably when you get into the 18-yard box and you think that you don't have time, I think she probably had way more time than she realized in that moment.
And Columbia is now.
Yeah, Columbia is now attacking with outside backs.
Sam Gordon. Dangerous again there. Becky, if you haven't figured out by now on our broadcasts, likes the outside backs getting forward into the attack. There's one, Sam Cohn drawing a foul. And Becky was a center back, so I'm a little surprised how much you like these outside backs getting forward and leaving you on an island sometimes as a center back.
Yeah, I think you can look at it two ways. The higher up they are, the higher they can win the ball back.
All right. Maya Tabian. That's Becky, half full tweed. Prusak. Slides one in. Tabian frees herself. Nifty little footwork, gets it to the end line. Tabian wins another corner for Columbia. 6:45 to go here. As Columbia now, each team has had some spurts throughout the match in each half. Columbia here in the second half, much more so.
Yeah, and I think, again, the game's been way more, like, there's been way more attacking moments. There's been 15 corner kicks between both teams. That's a high amount of corner kicks, so goalkeepers have been busy.
Corner to the far post. It's loose. Gordon there heads it. Clark looking for it. And that'll be a foul against Blake Turner. Clark out wide to Gordon. Lundrig in there instead. You know, they say a lot of times, right? Good defense can beat good offense. As Turner gets it to Prusak. Prusak one time from distance just goes wide of the post. Some changes to come, but my point on that is we take another look, Becky. Prusak from distance.
Yeah, it's another good effort. I think the goalkeeper had it covered, but again, in the last 5 minutes now, it's about how much pressure can they keep up on the Dartmouth defense.
But both of these teams, and we've talked about the offensive firepower that they have. Dartmouth scored 26 goals this year in 14 matches. Columbia 20 goals in 12. So really talented attacking pieces, midfielders, forwards. You know, we talked about Wynn Stanley, but on the Columbia side, Shira Cohen, Maya Tabian, Ali Clark. We go down the list, Grace Heron, Anya Prusak. As the corner comes towards the far post, Clark is there, Root is there, it's loose. Digging at it, Shira Cohen finds it and scores! Shira Cohen picks up the loose ball and gives Columbia the lead.
Yeah, again, just so much pressure coming in from the corners. The volume of corners they had, something was going to be on target eventually, and they don't give up on this one. And it's scrappy, but these are the goals that win you games.
And it was a great effort by Cohen as she was going down, but also a great effort by the defender, Juliet Moncho. And just going to the ground, blocking the shot. And really, that was the difference. I'm not sure if it wasn't blocked, whether that ball goes in, but that deflection on a great effort by Juliet Moncho really kind of chipped the goalkeeper and the defender on the line as we see Shira Cohen excited about her goal, which gives the Lions a 1-0 lead. Cohen, that's her 4th goal on the season.
Yeah, and she's clearly in a little bit of pain and may have picked up an injury in that moment, but again, these are the moments that win you games, and with 4 minutes left to go, sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit. So, yeah, it's really, really well played from her.
And a little bit of luck, and maybe that's what was needed. So tremendous effort as that ball was just sitting there, and a couple of chances for Columbia. Fell nicely for Cohen, and then the great effort by Moncho to try to block that shot may actually have helped beat the goalkeeper with it. So Cohen, the junior forward, 4 goals now to take over the team lead, to go with 2 assists. Not sure that we're going to get an assist on that one, as there was a lot of players. Dartmouth might have touched it last before Cohen.
Yeah, and with 4 minutes left to go on that goal, you can see now Columbia have gone into a back 5 just to kind of seal things up, and actually the goal scorers come out, and they've brought on another defender.
Nice. Clark will dribble this towards the corner flag. Maybe a little early for that, but she's kind of by herself, so actually a very smart play by Allie Clark to get something at it. And Prusak will get the assist for Anya Prusak, her 5th assist on the year on that goal from Cohen. As the clock is stopped, as Columbia has a player down. In Columbia's half of the field, it's Maddie McCaw who's down. So this is one of their center backs, and it's good to see McCaw's trying to see if she can run it off. Now the play was stopped, so she's going to have to come off. Columbia doesn't have to make a sub, but they'd have to play a player down until the referee waves her back on. And it looks like Claire Penny is going to come in for McCaw. So they're going to have to reposition. What do you see now in the back? You said they had gone to 5, but they just lost one in McCaw.
Yeah, maybe they'll just go into this back 4, or Claire Penny slots in as a right back right here. Let's have a look. It looks like a back 4 again, but.
Yeah, because Sam Gordon, I'm not sure that she's going to qualify as a center back. So she's on the right, but Penny's not too far away from her. And, of course, Grace Heron just in front of Beverina and Root.
It's still a 5-back, I think. I think Penny's just slotted in as a right back, and they've got 3 center backs.
Yep, so Sam Gordon does slot in as the right center back.
The right center back, just to kind of lock things up a little bit. And again, it's what time do you do it at? Like, do you invite pressure by taking the pressure from higher up, or is it something that's smart to now see out the game? And I'm sure every team has their own plan in this, and every team talks about what they do when they go 1-0 up, 1-0 down, and what does the last X amount of minutes look like, and this is a clear plan from Columbia.
Carly Retterer to take the corner kick. 2:30 left here. Retterer towards the near post. This is dangerous. It's outside the area, but Dartmouth in possession. Winstanley cuts it back twice. Winstanley with a shot towards the far post. That's not too far off the target.
Yeah, and you can see how many players are behind the ball from this set piece, and again, anything magic or a little bit something special from there to go in.
As we see some changes being made again. So new substitution rules this year in college. The winning team, if they make a sub in the final 5 minutes of a match, the clock is stopped. That's new this year, but McCaw comes back into the game for Maya Tabion. So now how are they fixing that back there?
They just moved Sam Gordon out to the right back. Claire Penny's come over as one of the forwards, back into more of a natural position.
So 3 center backs, Sam Cohen outside left and Sam Gordon outside right, as the referee instructs us to reset the clock to 2:12 remaining here. Both teams will still have 2 matches left in Ivy League play. Columbia's matches both on the road. This is their final home game tonight in 2022. And unfortunately for everybody watching and listening, it's the final match for Becky Tweed, who's been great all year. calling matches, not just the women, but the men as well. And she's decided to not sit in with us next week and is going to take a trip to a warmer climate instead. So not very nice of her, but have fun anyway, Becky. As Allie Clark now will just clear it towards midfield and give chase after it, as does Claire Pinney, but Charlotte Sir knocks it back. Headed forward by Redderer. Looking for Winstanley. Winstanley guarded by McCaw, and Winstanley is able to gain a corner here as Ron Rainey, as we take another look, Becky.
Yeah, and it's good defending. I think she gets a little bit unlucky here to actually give away a corner. It potentially could be a foul, but corner is good defending.
And it's Carly Redderer, 8th corner kick for Dartmouth. Goes towards the penalty spot, headed back, it's still loose. Dangerous, headed up in the air, and now over the goal line for a goal kick for Columbia. Less than 30 seconds to go here as Columbia is looking to remain undefeated at home, 3-0-3 coming into the match tonight. But even more importantly, move closer to the top two. Brown and Harvard just in front of Columbia. 10 seconds to go. And that'll do it. A great finish to a really good match between Columbia and Dartmouth. An assist from Anya Prusak, a goal by